Hello, and welcome to the Whovian vlog.
If you haven't seen the previous episode, click on the left of the screen to watch that now.
And the next episode, when available, is on the right of the screen.
In the meantime, here is today's episode. Thank you, and we hope you enjoy it.
Hello, gents.
Right, yes. Hello, Jordan. How are you?
I am well. How is everyone else?
Good, yeah, fine, thank
Yeah,
you.
pretty good, yes.
On this
So,
lovely
now-
Thursday.
A
You should
shocking-
probably explain why we're here.
Yeah, yeah, let's
Yeah.
explain.
Yeah, a shocking thing happened.
Yeah.
We
We
were
have-
approached
On Twitter.
on the valleys of the internet
We have
Yeah.
Twitter now, by the way.
We
just
have
to let
Twitter.
you
The
know.
Whovian blog is branching
on
out.
Twitter.
Yeah, and
We're
I
on
was
Twitter.
I was following random people on Twitter who I thought might be interested, Doctor Who people mainly, and I had a message from AM Audio Productions, which is a Canadian amateur audio company.
Productions people.
And
Yeah.
they inquired to us whether or not we would like to produce a review of their latest Doctor Who audio adventure, which is free to listen to on the internet.
Link in the description.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's on SoundCloud. And
Yeah.
They've got their own website with it.
And the episode is called...
Well, the series is called The Dark Journey, isn't it?
yeah, the Dark Journey.
But there's about 5 episodes. I listened to all of them. I don't know about you two.
Yeah, I listened to all of them. Yeah. So this is our review of Dark Journey. Put a bit of context into it. It involves the Doctor, who is in this edition newly regenerated, and it shows him in Victorian London with the great Sherlock Holmes.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, hang on. Yeah. And so as a result, they go on an adventure of some sort, which is what we're going to review now.
I should say, this is a very alternate Doctor. He's not any of the ones we know. He's the 13th regeneration, so he's he's on his last life. He's Scottish, isn't he? Correct me if I'm wrong. He's got a slight...
He's sort of Scottish.
Slightly.
Ben's going a bit roboty.
Ben's
Sorry
got a
about
little bit of
His
yes.
internet's quite iffy, as it were.
Yes. But yeah, this Doctor is... so he's an alternate Doctor. I mean, obviously, because it's a fan-made, fan-written thing. But he's still very much the Doctor. He uses that kind of defensive humour that the 10th and the 11th Doctors use, but he's also quite... He is actually quite dark at some points in the story. He's got that kind of Capaldi-ish, he's doesn't mind killing to save himself, so...
I did get the feeling that he was a lot like Capaldi.
Yeah.
You won't hear Ben say anything for the next 2 minutes because he's currently left TeamSpeak, but we'll carry on.
Yes, we should carry on without Ben. That is the advantage of doing this with the 3 of us, is that if any one person drops out, apart from Jordan, because if he drops out...
if I drop out, we're all...
We're scuppered, because Jordan is in fact recording it as well as editing it, so it's fantastic. It's set during the Jack the Ripper murders in the Victorian era, and when the Doctor arrives, there's a sort of press conference, and what's his name? Inspector... is he Dove or something?
Yeah, I can't remember.
Some kind of bird name, anyway. Pigeon. The Chief Inspector, he's the Scotland Yard Inspector. He is giving a press conference saying we can't catch Jack the Ripper, no idea. We can't track him down, we just don't know. So I'm going to hand over this
He's called Inspector Gull, by the way.
Gull, that's the one. I knew it was a bird of some kind. You can tell I paid a lot of attention when I listened.
We did actually pay a lot of attention when we listened. It was just that the minor details happened.
Yeah,
quite
exactly.
been remembered.
Yes, I know. Are you covering that base just in case the people who do AM audio media listen to this and go, they weren't paying attention when they reviewed our program?
Yes. Disclaimer: AM audio media. We completely paid attention to your wonderful, wonderful audio adventure, and this is an honest review. So we're being honest.
We're being honest for once. And probably going off on a lot of tangents because that's just what we do here. That's our function.
This is the
thing.
This is the tangent vlog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So Gull, he says, I'm handing this over to Sherlock Holmes, and it transpires that the setup is that Dr. Watson is looking after his health. He's recuperating in Edinburgh. So,
with Mrs. Hudson.
Yes, with Mrs. Hudson. And so the doctor says, he's down a doctor, I see. And then they go and investigate together.
Yeah, and we'll leave the rest of it to your imagination, because obviously we want you to actually go out there and listen to this audio adventure.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't want to spoil the entire story for you. But essentially, murder ensues and many things happen, and there's
obviously
stuff happens.
Doctor Who, so there's
aliens and stuff like that.
And things, but
So I'm gonna kick off and say, I think overall, it's a quality product. I thought before I reviewed it, I wanted to go from a purely a plot perspective, and I found myself enjoying the idea of the plot, but I did feel occasionally that the plot itself was a bit rough around the edges and a bit it didn't sometimes. The things that I think the writers wanted to come through in the storytelling didn't quite come through enough. I didn't quite experience enough of the emotions that there was a couple of moments where the Doctor was talking obviously about a lost companion he'd had or darkness in his life, and in some aspects I wasn't really necessarily feeling the emotion as much as I would have hoped. But I think the story, the idea is a good story, but I think its execution was good, but could have done with a little more tweaking and refinement to make it a high quality product.
Yeah, I agree. I did think as well that some of the moments, there were kind of leaps in the story where the Doctor, because kind of he and Sherlock Holmes are kind of trying to out kind of these two great intellects working together, so they're both being very, very clever. So I mean, it's never outright stated, and they do appear to get on.
Yeah, they do. I think this is one of the, in my mind, when I think about what I would do if Sherlock and the Doctor got together, to me it would always be bickering or trying to outdo each other. But in this one, it's quite interesting how quickly they just get on. And also, I don't know about you, Milo, but I would say that the Doctor tends to lead quite a bit in this. Sherlock tends to sort of follow
that's
the Doctor.
True. It is not like any crime that Sherlock's ever.
Yeah.
And in fairness, it's clearly not over. I mean, we won't spoil that either, but the 5th episode is still a cliffhanger, so...
Yeah, and I have been informed by the company that they will be releasing more episodes in February and March to coincide with, I think it's Toronto Comic-Con. So hopefully the ending will be resolved then. But it's a good way to end it, because I'm not, going to say what happened, but it was a good way to end the story.
Oh yeah, all the cliffhangers in it are all, good.
And the ending was quite, not rushed, but there was a lot of stuff going on at the end. Which I really hope would be resolved in whatever comes next of this.
It's like a standard sort of Moffat thing. He makes he makes this deep web, and then later on, like 5 years, he sort of unravels it.
Yeah, it is. Yes, at the end of episode 5, we must say it's quite deep and quite ravelly. But
ravelly.
Yeah. But going back to what I was just saying, the Doctor and Sherlock, these two great intellects, they do kind of appear to be trying to outdo the other in who can make the best leaps of deduction and the best intelligent things. So there are some moments where it kind of does leap a little bit.
It does transpire, although it's not a malicious attempt. I think it's sort of more of a, I think they're secretly enjoying it.
They're kind of going, finally there's something I can bounce my intellect on, and who is in the same kind of thing as me. It's not, no, I didn't mean it like that, but yes.
No, they are
trying to, they are both being at their best to kind of I don't know exactly how to phrase it, but they're both being very clever, so there are some leaps that might be a little bit hard to follow, but I mean, broadly, I followed it. So.
Yeah, I did follow. I mean, the story is a clever one. There's a lot of very quick deduction at the beginning, which it's interesting because you don't obviously have the visual element of it, but in my head I could picture exactly
Oh,
he's gone.
He's gone, my word.
I don't know what he was going to say.
We've got no idea.
It's a cliffhanger.
Yeah, it is.
Stay tuned for episode 2.
Oh, that is the good thing about the Whovian vlog is it's quite low budget. It's not so much. It's not so much. What was it we said? It's not so much
low budget
as no budget. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
But what would you say, Jordan? Because you haven't said a huge amount.
Well, I'm not saying much. I'm not very. I'm not very good with
being an editor, so.
Yeah, I'm not very good with the whole plot line, story writing.
Okay, well, do you want to talk about the production? Because we did talk a bit about that.
The production of it, as in how it sounded, things like that.
Yeah.
It sounds really nice, like really good. I've got some really nice 7.1 surround sound headphones, and it's if I remember correctly, it's actually in surround sound.
Oh, that's good.
So it's all 3D audio. So if you close your eyes, the way they describe it, you can actually imagine being there. And yeah, it was all put together quite nicely and all promoted well. And that's obviously I'm coming from it from a technical standpoint.
Yeah,
because
obviously you are a tech man.
I am tech man.
I am. Yes. I am legend. I am Jordan.
What were you saying, Ben?
What were you saying before you left, Ben? Something about
sorry. Yeah.
Yes.
I was able to visualize what they were, their deductions very clearly in my head.
But that's what I was just saying with the audio as well. Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't want to steal the thunder, but I honestly could not fault the effects that they used.
Oh yeah,
fantastic.
And the music, can I just chip in on the music? The theme tune they use, obviously they couldn't, because it's fan-made, fan-written, fan-produced. They can't use the proper Doctor Who theme tune, but Traffic Experiment did their version of the theme tune, which is absolutely fantastic. And I think this is. Oh, sorry, you quickly. Yes, you go.
No, I was just going to say there's a link on their website where you can listen to the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's about 6 minutes long, and there's voices, well, there's female voice on it as well, and I genuinely think it's a really lovely interpretation of it. Actually, it has the mystery that many of the newer Murray Gold versions have lost. I think the new ones sort of race your heart and make you feel all actiony and dramatic. Whereas I think this is the very nature of Doctor Who is that we still don't know after 51 years. We don't know who he is. So. The mystery of him. It's conveyed.
Big Finish.
It's definitely conveyed.
Nice version of but yes, the Traffic Experiment one is good, and I feel this is time to go on another little tangent and say that we at the Whovian vlog are. Should we talk about this, Ben? The music?
I've had a slight change of course. The plan was to do a sort of big band jazz style theme. But I've just, in terms of my capacity to actually do such a thing, it's now transpired that that's going to be too much of a task. So, what we're going to do, gents, is we're going to try our best to recreate a mysterious theme. On my laptop, I have a computer program, a music computer program, which has loads of synths on it. Sibelius.
We will not.
I have a music program on my thing called Sibelius, and on there there's various synthesizers. So I intend to use those along with Jordan on bass guitar and Milo, either you on electrical or acoustic. I haven't quite decided yet. We haven't quite decided yet. And then we'll put that all together, and hopefully on the next Whovian vlog after this one, that one will be ready, and we can have our own theme tune.
Yes. So we're gonna write our own. Well, not right. Ben's arranging the
We're going to arrange one.
And we're going to, all three of us are going to play it.
Yeah.
For the Whovian vlog theme tune. So we're kind of between introductions at the moment, because when this was a YouTube thing, the introduction was Ben and I saying click here, click there for the other episodes.
Yeah.
But now that it's purely a podcast, because we've gone through this kind of transition period, and now we are definitely a podcast.
Yeah.
And we do this episode. I think is kind of between intros, but we're going to hopefully do that and put it together, and it can be the mark podcast.
Yes. Anyway, should we go back to the Dark Journey a second? Talk about that. I have to say, I was very curious about the human aspect of this Doctor. I really thought he was he was, for, you know, when you watch the television series, Peter Capaldi is obviously an alien. Matt Smith was obviously an alien. This guy is sort of less obviously alien. He's very normal, and I don't mean that in a bad way, because I genuinely think it adds an interesting layer to him. He's quite fascinating as a more human style person, and I thought that the Doctor in this particular interpretation of Doctor Who was fantastic. I genuinely did.
I'm just going on their website just to see.
I actually have it up already.
Oh, you have it up. Who's the cast?
The
cast.
cast.
Does it start?
The Doctor is played by Andy Chalmers.
Yeah.
I think that's how you pronounce his name. Picture on screen right now.
Please, Andrew Chalmers, let us know if we said your name correctly.
The character of Sherlock Holmes is played by Roy Miranda.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And again, picture on screen. I actually really like the picture of Inspector Gull, who's played by Ricky Wright, because he's wearing a floral shirt and a sort of farmer's cap.
Yeah.
It's really quite good. Yeah, are there any other characters you'd like to list? We'll have.
I think if you go on their website, they're all there.
Yeah, Cassandra and Emily Hudson Emily Hudson is Mrs. Hudson's daughter. She makes quite a prominent appearance in the episode, in the story, and she has a not a dark secret, but she has a secret as well that is well hidden until the end, which is a nice reveal at the end. I think is quite.
She's played by Kate Elise Forrest. By the way.
Can we just talk a little bit about the acting a second? I thought I don't want to be picky, because I know that this is I don't know, I presume that, you know, it's an amateur production. I'm not sure whether or not the actors in it are you know, semi-professional, or if they've done other work regarding acting. I mean, I really don't know, and I'm not an actor myself, but from a purely storytelling perspective, I really don't want to be picky, because I thought it was a good thing. But Sherlock Holmes was a very had a very sort of monotone style in terms of his speech, which sort of conveyed a slightly aloof, detached man from society. The only thing I'd have to say about it is that in some parts of the storytelling where for like dramatic purposes, particularly in cliffhangers and dramatic scenes, I felt like if the actor could have let go a little bit and of that sort of monotonous speech and become a little bit more intense, I think it would have aided the storytelling slightly. But other than that, I quite like this interpretation of Holmes, because I have to admit that I haven't seen any of the old Sherlock Holmes films. I haven't really read much Sherlock Holmes. I've only really ever seen the BBC television series, and obviously for people who've seen Sherlock on television, he's very detached and sort of quite deep in his voice and sort of talks fast. But here I think Roy Miranda has taken Sherlock on a slightly different side. He's a little bit drier, isn't he, I think?
I feel like he was more of a Conan Doyle sort of Sherlock then.
Yeah. I mean, I've only I've read a couple of the books. I haven't really seen any of the old. What is it, Basil Rathbone?
I can't remember.
I haven't seen any of the old films, but I've certainly read the books, and I would say that in the Conan Doyle, in the sort of Victorian setting, he's a lot more. He is a bit more human than the portrayal of him in the modern thing. I think
in the BBC's
in the BBC with Benedict Cumberbatch, they dehumanised him sort of even more. But I think in the older stuff he was a little bit more human, and so I think given that they are going back to a Victorian setting, I think it makes a bit more sense that he's a more classic form of Sherlock.
Yeah.
Don't you find it quite strange how the TV series of both shows, Doctor Who and Sherlock, quite sort of alienise the characters? Obviously, the Doctor is an alien, and Sherlock's well, human, but he's quite alien to people. But then in this fan-made sort of series, both the characters are a lot more human.
Yeah. Which is interesting. I think it's quite an interesting dynamic. In many ways, with one of these things, when you're trying to do a Sherlock and Doctor, crossover, it's almost impossible to get it absolutely right because it's such a difficult task.
Well,
I feel a little bit like what AM Audio Media have done is gone, right, let's try and take it in a slightly different direction. Let's take it down the human route. I mean, it's not one of my favourite parts of the story, but the Doctor kept on asking for alcoholic beverages. I mean, he never does that in the television show. You know,
exactly.
every 5 minutes he was asking for a whiskey or a brandy or a sherry or a port or something like that. You know, it was quite different, and it's definitely less sort of drama queenish. I think to be fair, who is very sort of over dramatic on the television, isn't it? Really, I think this is a more realistic. I think this was bridging the gap, wasn't it, between fiction and sort of real life. I think in many ways, it was very interesting indeed.
Now, the favourite part of this, because we've been recording for quite a while actually. 25 minutes.
Yeah.
Well, some of it will have to be cut out, obviously. But,
yeah. Rating this thing.
It's a difficult one. It's very, very difficult, isn't it?
It is quite difficult, yes.
Because what they've done, I mean, from my perspective, I was thinking about this earlier, I give it 10 out of 10 for the production.
Easily 10 out of 10.
Easily 10, it's...
Yeah. It's fantastic. It's fantastic. And to be fair, I am amazed that this is not a professional sounding product. I think you could genuinely stick this in Big Finish's archives, and I don't think anyone will bat an eyelid. I don't know about you, Mara. You listen to that more than I do.
Exactly. Yes, it does sound very much like that kind of quality and that kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, the story. Full marks for the production, because the production's fantastic. I think we'd give it. I personally would give it sort of high mark for the story. As we say, there were certainly the bits where it needed to be dramatic. It was, and the story was very well conceived. If Ben, what did you say about? I think there was a distinction you made between the conception and the story, execution of it.
Yeah, it was only that it was. The one thing I think it just failed to do was grip me. I didn't quite get all of the emotions coming out of the story as I wish I could have done. That's my general feeling. I mean, I think the actual story is very good. The sort of Holmes deduction thing is very well played out. I also really like the various references to current Doctor Who and Sherlock on the television. And I don't know if anyone noticed, but when Sherlock starts to play the violin in this one, he's playing the same piece as he did when Moriarty came to the house in the Reichenbach Falls. I'm not sure if anyone noticed that.
On the subject of links with the monster, there's a great little line where Sherlock starts picking, sort of deducing, like Benedict Cumberbatch's version does, where he looks at people and just deduces things from them. And the Doctor says, "Aren't you going to do that?"
Yeah.
All the clues whizzing around, flying off, and Sherlock goes, "What?" And he just goes, I've been watching too much television.
And there is a particular reference that I don't wish to spoil for you, because it's possibly one of the most famous Holmes quotes, and essentially it's written so that in fact it is the Doctor that tells him this thing that he utters in his books, and it's the Doctor who conveys that first, and then the Doctor sort of goes, "Have you ever heard that before?" And he goes, "No, but I really like it, and I think I'm probably going to use it in the future." It's quite funny.
Actually, on that subject, sorry, this is a slight tangent, but William Hartnell Yeah, as if everything we do on here is. William Hartnell's Doctor has an episode which is almost entirely like that, where he goes back to the Trojan War and gives them the idea of the horse. But he only has that idea of the horse because he's read Homer's account of the Trojan War, so it's a kind of loop. And that's exactly...
Yeah, it's a paradox, isn't it, really?
It's a stable paradox.
I mean, the Doctor here has only actually heard about this thing because he's read the Holmes books, but in turn, the only reason that Holmes has ever heard about it is because the Doctor told him about it, which is quite impressive.
Yeah.
But yeah, back to the ratings of it. I think the acting is overall, on the whole, I think it is a very solid show. I think it could, in a couple of ways, as I have mentioned, I think that the storytelling would be aided by slight changes in the tone of voice of the characters, particularly Sherlock. But I think I don't want to personally, you know, review each acting, because I know that these people are obviously very good at what they do, and I think that they've done an incredible job with it. But I think overall, I would say that I think if you combined everything, my personal opinion is to give this an 8.
Out of 10.
Overall.
8
Out
out
of
of 10.
Yeah.
I'd give it a 9.
Okay.
Combining if we go on three counts, if we go on the production of it, if we go on the acting, and if we go on the story itself, then I'd give it a solid 9.
Okay.
See, I'm gonna go in between both of you as
Sort of 8.5.
8.5-ish. I'm leaning more towards 9, mainly because of the production.
So the actual average of that is 8.5. As I've just worked out. So
did you have to use a calculator for that then?
Yes, I know you wouldn't have. I know you. Look, just because you wouldn't have had to use the calculator, Jordan, doesn't mean you can pick on me. Look, 8.5 out of 10. Are we agreed on 8.5?
Yeah.
We are. Give me a second.
Yeah. Okay, so 8.5 out of 10. This is something I would recommend you go and listen to.
Oh yeah, but yes, by all means, even though we might have other niggles about how the story.
But when don't we ever have our niggles about the actual Doctor Who series? You know.
Oh, we have little. Well, we do have little complaints also. Certainly, if you were to go back and watch some of our original shows, we had huge niggles with things like In the Forest of the Night and
also, to be fair, this is actually probably better produced and more consistent than some recent Doctor Who episodes.
Oh yeah,
I think this can be considered a triumph for this team who've done this. I think they should be very, very pleased with what they've produced. It's frankly amazing. I mean, it's quite long as well. I mean, it's a good 50 minutes. You know, it's not short. It's in 5 parts, and in each part is about 10 minutes long. It's fantastic what they've done. And I imagine they've done this on a ridiculously small budget as well.
Oh yeah. Well, I don't know. They have. Well, yes, but they have had to get hold of. Maybe they. It's speculation. Maybe they already had all the equipment. But,
Maybe I presume they've somehow got the equipment. Maybe they have the right people who currently have the equipment. I don't know. I mean, we could speculate about that all day. But basically, I think if this, I don't think you should think from this at all that it is an amateur production. I think you should look at this and judge it for yourselves as a professional piece of kit, because it really is up there. It's that good. It's genuinely that good. So definitely.
So if you're listening to this, you're probably either on our YouTube or our SoundCloud. Would that be right, Ben?
Yeah.
Yes.
Or you might have found us through our Twitter page, or equally AM Audio Media's Twitter page if you're following them on Twitter.
Yeah, I
us.
imagine they're gonna. I think I'd like to.
Equally, I have to say that you know, the hashtag Whovian blog is obviously the thing that we is on every tweet when we tweet. So if you're tweeting about us or tweeting to us, hashtag Whovian blog. That's what we will respond to.
We're taking off. Let's get it trending.
We also respond to @the Whovian blog. That's easier.
Not let's just @Whovian blog.
Yeah. Capital W, capital V.
Yeah.
Links obviously in the description.
Yes,
obviously.
Like that.
Yeah.
Links to everything in the description. I mean, this started on YouTube, but I'd say our main base is probably SoundCloud.
Yeah.
Well,
Obviously,
said and done.
we're going to continue transmitting on YouTube as well because
Yeah.
I mean, actually, I noticed that this particular audio drama is available on both formats as well.
Yeah.
And we are. But I also have to mention that we have possibly considered, if it is possible, to get this podcast onto the Apple podcast store. For those of you who do have an Apple product, you'll know all about it. It's a
Problem.
It's a problem. It's a problem. Is it?
It's complicated and annoying.
Yeah, it's very complicated.
It is. It is very complicated.
If we did spend a while talking about it, we'd then have to edit it out. So let's make less work for Jordan and
Thank
skip
you.
over that. Yes.
Sorry. Skip that.
No, it's fine.
Anyway,
yeah.
it was nice talking with you, gents.
Yes.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Thanks
Thanks.
to
Yeah.
And if
AM
anybody
Audio
else,
hang on.
if anybody else has something they want us to talk about, because we don't really have any fixed plans between now and when the series sort of starts. Again,
No, not at all.
the end of summer. So
Can I
yeah.
just thank M.A. Tamburo, I think that's your name, you're the producer and the director of Doctor Who Dark Journey. He has been liaising with me from the beginning about this through email and through everything. He says, thanks for the promotion of Dark Journey. It's by fans, for fans, so looking forward to hearing your review. So, thank
By
you.
fans, for fans is a much better way of putting this because it's
Yeah.
far from amateur. And
it
once
is
again, go check it
genuine.
out. Thank you for listening to the blog.
Thank you, yeah.
Yeah, and I suppose we'll see you around. Oh well, not see, but yes.
Good day.
You'll hear from us soon.
Yeah.